Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's training on booking domestic and international airfare. My name is Mark Krebs. I am a gold qualified consultant with Team Sunset, part of Team Empire, Team World Explorer, and Team Rising Tide. Just a little bit about myself. I've been with Archer and Evolution Travel for just about 2.5 years, but I've been in this business for 10.5 years. But I've been in the travel industry for about 20 years, and I actually started out with United Airlines. So I've got a lot of knowledge and experience that I am going to be sharing with you guys tonight about how to book airfare only for your client. Now, some of you may have heard from other people that as a travel agent, booking airfare only cannot be lucrative for you. Well, there's nothing further from the truth than that. Because yes, even though we don't receive the traditional commission on booking airfare only, we actually can receive instant commission by booking airfare. And what I mean by that is our clients can pay us a ticketing fee to book their air travel for them if they are looking for airfare only. So the purpose of this training is to show you guys, when you get an inquiry, how to actually go about looking up those prices for your clients and how to book those flights for them and how to actually charge for that service. So Julia gave me a couple of good inquiries for tonight. One for an international trip and one for a domestic trip. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to use both of these trips as examples tonight when we are looking at the flights. So the first thing that you want to do when you are looking at flights, guys, is you want to use an incognito or a private browser. The reason for that is because airlines can actually track your IP address or your internet protocol address, basically your computer's address. And if they see that you are searching for the same flights over and over and over and looking at the prices, they will actually raise those prices on you. By using an incognito or private browser window, you can prevent that from happening. So you always want to start out your flight only searches in this incognito window, like what I have right here. So let's take a look at the first example that Julia has given me. She's given me an example of 5 tickets round trip from JFK to Fort Lauderdale in October. Now, Julia, are these all adults that are looking for these tickets? Josette, no, I don't suggest using another device, because when you are in an incognito mode, it's going to hide your computer's IP address from the airline. So, and what I do suggest is not going through, when you're looking at airfare only, not going through VAX or not going through Expedia Tap. Okay, it is so much easier to deal with the airlines directly because those prices are all going to be the same in VAX or Expedia Tap that you're getting directly from the airlines. Another point about using Expedia Tap is the fact that Expedia Tap is still considered a third-party booking site. So that could potentially bring up some issues for your client in the long run, should there be an overbooking situation. So, and that could potentially subject your clients to an involuntary boarding situation, which means based on the way they bought their ticket, if they didn't buy it directly from the airline, they would be involuntarily denied boarding. They would receive compensation and get on the next flight, but they would be involuntarily denied boarding for their original flights because they used a third-party site, technically. Now, there are other factors that go into these decisions by the airlines as well, such as who checked in last, if any employees are traveling, et cetera, et cetera. So it's rare when it happens, but you really don't want to put your clients into that position. So Laura and Marlena want to know how to go incognito. So when you're in Google Chrome, you just go over here to the right to the three dots. You click on the three dots and you click on New Incognito Window, and that's it. So, and that'll put you into this incognito mode. And you're going to see incognito on the right-hand side next to the browser bar. Same thing is going to happen if you're using Edge or Safari or Firefox. It's going to be the same process. You just need to find where it says private or in private mode. Josette, Centrav is a ticket broker. It's a wholesaler. You can use them. However, the ticket prices are going to be higher that I have found. Now, there are some cases in international travel that you can receive traditional commission from Centrav. I have heard of some agents receiving up to $150, $200 in commission from Centrav on those international tickets. However, two things about Centrav. One, if you are receiving that traditional commission from them, you are subject to the 80-20 split with Archer. So that $140, $150, let's just say it's $150, 30 of that is going to go right back to Archer. So you're really only making $120. Then the second thing is that Centrav already charges a $15 per ticket service fee as well. So you don't want to subject your client to that service fee. Diana, you're in the process of booking a package for a relative, which includes air. You don't want to charge them a fee. You've been looking at Southwest Vacations to book. Should I remove the air from the package? No, do not remove the air from the package. So with the package, with Southwest Vacation, in some cases, they actually pay a 3% commission on the air, in addition to the commission they pay on the package price, which I believe is 12 to 14%. So definitely do not remove the air from the package deal. What I'm talking about today is if you are only booking airfare. So no hotel, no car, nothing else, just airline tickets. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to flights.google.com. Okay. So that's the first website you want to go to, is flights.google.com. And what this website is going to do, it's going to give you a listing of all of the airlines that are available along with prices. So in the example that we're going to be using for Julia, the 5 tickets round trip from JFK to Fort Lauderdale. So we're going to change the button here to 5, leave it at economy. You're going to put in the airport code if you know what it is. You're going to put in their departure date and their return date. and then you're going to click on done, and then you're going to click on search. Okay. And then it's going to give you the best departing flight. Click out of that little ad there. So it's going to list by the best prices at the very top. You can always sort by best flights, price, departure time, arrival time, duration, and emissions. Emissions I don't worry about ever. So if your client has a certain departure time they want to leave by, or an arrival time they want to get to their destination by, you can sort by that. You can also sort by price. Again, so I just sorted it by price. Again, Delta stays up there. So let's just say they want to take that 7:40 a.m. flight that gets into Fort Lauderdale. It's a direct flight from JFK, gets into Fort Lauderdale at 10:48 a.m. Click on the down arrow. Okay, you're going to see the flight information. It's a 3-hour and 8-minute flight on an Airbus A321. And this is the flight number here. Gives you the average legroom of the economy seats. There's free Wi-Fi for SkyMiles members. There's in-seat power and USB outlets for your clients. There's live TV on the flights available on their mobile devices or sometimes in the seat backs. So you're going to select this flight. You're just going to click on select flight. Now you're going to look at their return flight. Okay, now if you want to go with the most economical return flight, it's going to bring up the best price right at the top. So $11.60 again. So this is the round trip fare for 5 people. So you're going to click on the down arrow, get all the flight information, and you're going to select flight. Okay, now this gives you your additional option. This is where it's going to tell you where you're going to book it with. So you're going to book it directly with Delta once you click one of these 3 continue buttons. Make sure to read this information closely. Basic economy seats, which is what you were priced at. Okay, for the $11.60 for 5 people total. You don't get any seat selection, so they will be assigned seat when they check in. It's a standard seat. They're the last to board the aircraft. Okay, Delta gets 1 free carry-on per passenger. That's normal. What I try to do normally for my clients is I always go with the main cabin, because I want to be able to have my traveling party sitting together. So I go to the main cabin where I get the free seat selection and standard boarding. There are free changes to the ticket, so no change fee, but they will have to pay a fare difference if there is one. Okay? So let's just say that we're going to go with the main cabin for those 5. You just click on continue. And as you can see, it takes you straight to the delta.com site to book these tickets. So you're not booking it through a third party. You're actually booking it directly through Delta. Okay, so again, this is the main Delta website that you are booking this through. Does anybody have any questions up to this point?
Wow, and guess what? Today's superstar ticket.
Even better.
Yeah, I have a big one.
Okay, let's see.
I literally saw you today.
What are the best? Laura says, what are the best ways to better your boarding group? Like if you aren't a club or card member, there really isn't, unless you are going to book in a higher class of service, such as in this case, Delta Comfort Plus or First Class. if your clients do fly a lot, then they are more than likely already frequent flyer members. So that would work for them. They would be accruing miles at this point. So that will bump them up in status as well. If it's airlines such as Southwest, they have their business select type of ticket where you do get boarding priority A1 through A15 automatically. So you just got to look at that. Really, the biggest tip that I can give is don't book your clients in that basic economy class, because they are going to end up in the last boarding group and they're going to be waiting forever in the gate area. So, David, what's your question? And David, you can go ahead and unmute if you want.
Gucci.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, Mark, I have a point. There's something you can do. And if you say that you're disabled, there's nothing that the person at the counter can do to sustain you. You'll be the first person on the plane if you want to book somebody in the back or someone in the plane that won't be up there. But if you tell the agent that you have a disability, they have to let you go on the plane first. So I mean, I am just somewhat disabled, so I get it as but I was told by the airlines and the ADA that they cannot question the fact of your disability. So if you're,
Right.
older, if you're a little older, if you have older uh, travelers, I would say the first thing they should do is tell the agent that they have disabilities and they get on the plane first. One of the problems if you're on a crowded plane, like I just flew back from Atlanta yesterday, and long story short, I mean, the plane was 100% full, but if you get on first, you get to put your carriages, your bags, or whatever, on in the overhead apartments, and there's room left. Whereas if you get on later in the plane, usually it's there's nothing where to put it. So it's just an advantage you have if you have elderly, or older, say 50 on up passengers, you can ask them to do that.
Right. And having worked for United before, and even in my travels now, there is always an announcement in the gate area stating if you need additional time to board the aircraft, you can come up at this point. So if you do need that additional time to board the aircraft, you do get that. Every airline allows that. So it's not necessarily even if you have a disability, if you have a family traveling together, you get that additional time to get them on board and settled before they start boarding the first class passengers and whatever, depending on the airline policy. So that is a good point. You can always go up to the gate and ask, or say, hey, I'm going to need additional time to board the aircraft. Can I board with this group? So on and so forth. So I have a physical disability myself with a bad back, so I understand that as well. So, yes, there are accommodations that have to be made. Josette asks, can we be affiliates? We cannot be affiliates of the airlines. There are very few travel agent sites available for the airlines. Allegiant Air is one that does have a TA site that allows you to earn points on their vacation packages that they sell instead of a commission for them. And those points you can use to take Allegiant Airline flights, but I do not recommend flying on them for several different reasons. One, a lot of times those flights are delayed. Number two, they're a low budget, low cost airline. So you are going to be nickeled and dimed for seat selection. Baggage fees are extremely high. Carry on, they charge for your carry on. They make you pay for water on the aircraft. They make you pay for snacks. So there are several airlines that I do not recommend using. Allegiant, Frontier, Spirit are the big three that I do not recommend using. So Carrie asked, do we not get a better price on flights than others? In most cases, no, we do not, Carrie. It just depends on what you are booking. Sometimes there are some unpublished fares. So if you're looking at like Delta Vacations, for example, there is a chance that they have some, there are some unpublished fares that may be a little bit lower for those vacation packages. So there are some times that we do get a little bit better deal. Like in VAX, if you look at the exclusive nonstop vacation flights, those prices are a little bit lower than booking with a mainline airline, because they use Sun Country, which is another low-cost airline, but they're pretty decent. So there are some cases that we do get some better deals. So that is domestic flights in a nutshell. Not really in a nutshell, but that is how you're going to look for domestic flights. So now we're going to move on to the international flight that Julia gave me. So we're going to use the same, we're going to go right back into flights.google.com. Okay, and now we're going to go and Julia, you said from Caracas, Venezuela to New York City on September 16th. Okay, so my first question on that, okay, because with it being a one-way flight, Julia, do you personally know this client? And you can unmute. Because my first red flag is that it's a one-way flight. Second red flag to me, it may be flying when I hear the answer to my second question. Julia, are you there?
Sorry, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
I'm just
Okay.
outside, so there's a lot of noise.
Not a problem. Okay, so question number one, do you personally know this client, or is this somebody who found you on the internet? The
I
Venezuela to
personally know
JFK.
both.
Okay, you personally know them both?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you hadn't, so that just raises a red flag with it being a one-way ticket from Venezuela back to the US, because that's
Oh, yeah,
how a
for
lot of
sure.
travel agents get hit with fraudulent bookings.
Yeah. this guy's family lives there. I think that he's going to visit, but didn't book his ticket back. So he wanted to see if I could give him some options.
Okay. Sure. So it's going to be the same. Are they in Caracas?
Yes, Caracas.
And going back into JFK?
Or LaGuardia.
Probably
Either New
JFK
York
is going to
City
be your
Airport.
best bet.
Okay.
Okay, so it's going to be the same situation, but you're just going to change it to one person and then change the drop down here to one way. No options. So we're going to change it and look at LaGuardia. No options. We're going to look at Newark. No options. So, which is really strange, actually.
My guess is there's no flights on a Monday from there.
That very well
what's
could
the-
be,
what's
but
the other
Caracas is
major-
an international airport.
What's the other major airport in Venezuela?
Let me see here.
I'm gonna text him right now and see if there's a specific airport. Because yeah, the political issues are affecting. That's why there's no nonstop, but there should be one that has one or two stops.
Right, and I'm not even looking for non-stops. I'm looking for general.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm texting him now. I'm gonna mute myself and I'll let you know if he responds.
Yeah, but this is how you would search anyway, is by using
Right.
flights.google.com. So it's the same way to do it. So
And then I don't know if I missed it earlier, but the way that you're collecting instant commission, how are you charging these people? What method of
I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, sorry, I'm listening. I'm muting myself.
Yep.
Bye.
Not a problem. Thanks. Okay, so that you're gonna do that as well. But let me show you guys an international flight that's going to work here. Okay, so
Mark,
Stadia.
I just looked under Chat GPT, and it says all flights since 2019 have been suspended. Direct flights from Venezuela to the United States. You have to go through a third country first in order to get into the United States.
Okay,
That's why you couldn't find anything.
thanks, David. Okay, so Brasilia. So you've got a client coming from Colombia into Fort Lauderdale. So you would do the same thing. You would go through flights.google.com and start looking at that actual flight. Okay. So do you have do you know dates or anything? Or are they coming from Cartagena into Fort Lauderdale? Okay, how many people? Okay, and when are they leaving? Okay, so November 23rd to November 28th. Gotcha. Okay. So this is how you're going to look for international flights. Okay, guys? So we've got a few options here. So they can connect in Bogota. So they're flying out of Bogota or Cartagena or Cartagena. Excuse me. Okay. So let me change that and it'll research. Okay. So you've got a few options here. So again, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to look at best price. So this one here is Avianca departing at 8:45 in the morning, getting in at 12:45 p.m. for $769. Okay. Click on that. It's a 4-hour direct flight straight into Fort Lauderdale. And they would clear customs in Fort Lauderdale. So, but what this means is that this price for the price for the flight does it include overhead bin access. If you need a carry-on bag, you use the bags filter update prices. Okay, so Avianca doesn't include carry-on bags, is what that's basically saying. But you'll see all that on the airline's website, and you can select the correct class of service to address that issue. But let's just say they're not going to go through that. Okay. And they decide to go ahead and take this 9 a.m. Delta flight out of Bogota that gets in at 9:44 p.m. Okay. Let's just pretend. You click on this. This is what you want to look at. Because when they get into Atlanta, okay, they're going to have to clear U.S. Customs. You need to give them enough time to do that. So you need to give them enough time to clear U.S. Customs, recheck their bags, and get to their connecting flight, no matter what country they are coming from. Okay? So if they're coming from Mexico, if they're coming from Germany, if they're coming from the UK, my recommendation is at a minimum 2 hours. to clear customs. Minimum. In most cases, I start with a minimum of 2.5, depending on the airport they're going through. Now, there is a way that you can speed up the process if they are U.S. citizens or green card holders. It is called the Mobile Passport Control app. Darlene, it's going to depend. You can always try to look up times to clear customs. Just Google it. For whatever city you're going into, it's going to depend. So, the Mobile Passport Control app, guys, is amazing, and I wish I had known about this a lot sooner for my clients. I'm going to put this link into the chat as well for you guys so that you can bookmark it for yourself. Okay? What the Mobile Passport Control app is. It offers eligible travelers to submit their travel documents, photo, and custom declaration through a free secure app on their smartphone or other mobile device. Okay, it reduces passport control inspection time and overall wait time. The eligible travelers who can use this are U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, Canadian B1 and B2 visa holders, and returning visa waiver program applicants. Okay, so these are the eligible travelers for the MPC. And I'm going to put it in the chat. So Diana, you have your global entry interview tomorrow?
I do. I'm very excited for it.
Awesome. That is another program that if you have clients that are frequent international travelers and who do not have that program, it's called Global Entry. It streamlines the entire process around the world for control, for passport control and customs. So that is $100 for 5 years, but it can take up to a year to get approval. Plus, you have to go through an in-person interview as well. You can also tell your clients if they do a lot of domestic traveling, so travel within the US, that they can get TSA pre-check. Pre-check runs a background check just like Global Entry does, but pre-check runs it and it allows you to get through security a lot faster, just like Global Entry does as well. Global Entry also includes pre-check with it. They take your fingerprints, they take your picture, they run a background check, an FBI background check, and most applicants get their results back in 3 to 5 days. Sometimes it does take up to 60 days to get your results back and to get your KTN or your known traveler number. It took me 58 days to get mine back for some reason. So that is another option for those who travel frequently. It's $78 for 5 years, and then $70 upon renewal. The best part about TSA PreCheck and Global Entry with it having PreCheck involved is that if you have kids under the age of 17 who are traveling with you, they automatically get TSA pre-check attached to their boarding pass as well and can go through the expedited security line with you. But mobile passport control, okay, is offered in these. It is 52 sites, including 34 U.S. international airports, 14 pre-clearance locations, and 4 seaports of entry. So it's not just for airlines, but it's also for cruising as well. The whole list is right here. So if you are flying into Fort Lauderdale, let's say, they have MPC. Nassau, Bahamas have MPC, the mobile passport control, guys. We all know that's a popular destination. Dublin, Ireland. Abu Dhabi. Okay, so all these locations that are listed right here, San Juan, Puerto Rico Seaport, all of these locations, Port Everglades, let's see here. Let's see if Port Canaveral is on there. Port Canaveral is not on there. But all of these locations have the mobile passport control capability to speed your time up. Okay? In customs. And your client's time up in customs. When you guys are working on domestic trips and international trips, domestic trips don't take very long, okay, to do because they're simple. Because you don't have to look at those customs times. You don't have to look at the layover times as much, okay? But make sure that you guys know, at least have an idea about the airports your clients are flying into and out of. Okay? If you've never traveled there yourself, go to that airport's website, take a look at the terminal maps, and see, and just make an educated guess how far between gates, or are they going to have to change concourses? Do they have an automated people mover? Do they have a train that runs underneath the ground to get people to different concourses? Do they have a train inside that runs people to concourses like Minneapolis does, or Detroit? Or do they have the people mover buses like they do at Washington Dulles? Make sure that you guys are familiar with where your clients are traveling to and through if it's an international flight. All the information is right here for you. You can get customs wait times. Okay? Just Google US Customs wait times, and it will pull up the U.S. Customs and Border Protection site, and you can look at the average times for the last 30 days at any given airport across the country, and it will give you, and you can make an educated guess as to how long your clients are going to have to wait at customs. Okay? So there are so many different tips and tricks that we can provide to our clients and provide them the best possible service. Okay. Now I want to talk about those service fees and how to charge them. There are many different ways you guys can collect service fees, or also known as instant commission. Okay. What I do when I'm doing a flight only booking, I charge $25 for domestic flights and $75 for international. 25 for domestic and 75 for international. But this is your business. You guys run it how you want to. So you can charge whatever you like. If you're just starting out, you can go lower than that or make it a flat fee for all flights to start out. And then make changes to it. But what you want to do, guys, is think about the amount of work that you're putting in. So a domestic flight, I can book in about 20 minutes. I can research it and book it in 20 minutes. Boom, done. International flights take me longer. To research it properly, to factor in all of the times that I need to factor in, like how long is it going to take them to get off the aircraft? How long is it going to take them to get through customs? How long is it going to take them to get their bags? Stuff like that. I factor that in when I'm looking at connecting flights in other countries or even coming back to the US. So that's why my fee is higher, because it takes me more time to think about that. So Darlene brings up a good point. How would you schedule time for rental car pickup or transfers when flying internationally? So transfer companies do understand customs. Okay, you give them your client's flight number and flight information, and they know they're coming in from overseas if it's a direct flight. Now, if they've already cleared customs in the country and they're connecting, say, through London to Manchester, let's just say, you've already cleared customs in London, so your connection time in Manchester, your pickup time in Manchester could be 30 to 45 minutes after you land in Manchester. Whereas if you are in London, it could be an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it just depends. Your transfer companies are going to understand that there's going to be a wait. But you've hired them. They understand there's a wait involved because you're coming from overseas. When it comes to rental cars overseas, you still put in the time the flight arrives. Okay, and they'll have the car ready at that time. So, but going back to fees, you guys can charge whatever you like. Now, the collection of those fees is also up to you. You can either have, if you're working with your client face to face, you can collect it in cash. If you want to take a chance on taking a personal check, you can do that. But most of our interactions are online or over the phone or email. Okay, so you can take a credit card by using Square. You can have them Venmo you, but I would suggest getting a Venmo business account. That way you keep your business transactions separate from your personal. You can get a Cash App business account. Okay, so they could Cash App you. You could get a PayPal business account where they could pay you via credit card as well. Square and PayPal, you can send out payment request links to your client, and all they have to do is click on the link, put the card information in themselves, boom, you're done. You've gotten paid. Now, both of those have fees. Okay, I'm not sure what PayPal's fees are, but I know with Square, it's either 2.9% plus 15 cents per transaction or 3.5 plus 15 cents per transaction. They've recently made a change. I need to look it up. So, but with Square, you can carry everything around with you right on your phone. So if you're in an in-person meeting with your client and they say, hey, let's go ahead and take care of the flight fee right now, you just pop up your Square app on your phone, put in the amount, put in your client information. If they've got a chip card, hold the chip up to the back of your phone. If it's capable of doing that, boom, chip is scanned, you're done. You've gotten paid. So, that's how I do it. That's how I recommend people do it. But, I mean, so you can see that if you're booking flights only, it can be very lucrative. I know an agent who last year or the year before made over $10,000 in flight fees. Okay, in instant commission, she made over 10 grand. So that is something to consider, guys. Does anybody have any questions at this point? What my real recommendation is that if you are booking flights only, I do not recommend going through Expedia Tap, Vax, Downtown Travel, any of them. Book it directly with the airline. Okay? In an incognito window or private window. Or go through flights.google.com and look at everything. Okay? Darlene, no, that is not true. The airline will speak with you because you are a travel agent. You tell them you're a travel agent, you have all of the information, the passenger locator number or the PNR or the passenger name recognition number. You have all that information just like you do for clients on package bookings. You have all of that information. The airlines will talk to you, especially if you identify yourself as a travel agent. Laura, I did find out that I got charged a $5 fee from Venmo Business. Today on a $50 service fee or research fee that I charged. So, Darlene, yes, give me one moment here. Let me address Mercedes' question quick, and then you can unmute. Mercedes, the reason why not with Expedia Tap is because Expedia Tap is still considered a third party. Okay? If you have to make any changes, modifications, or anything like that to a client's flight, it is that much harder to do because the airline cannot do it. Expedia Tap has to do it. And it is very hard to get in touch with them. So, and they will charge your client all sorts of fees or charge you all sorts of fees. So, that's why I don't suggest going with Expedia, because of the fact that they are very hard to get in touch with. They're still considered a third party, even though we're using the travel agent portal. And all of that. So I say if you're booking flights only, book it direct with the airline. Vax is not going to give you an issue. But don't book direct with them. Flights only. It's just easier to book direct through the airline. Diana, I can help you with your international package flights if you would like. Braseda, we actually, if you booked a flight only with TAP and you earned commission, that is going to surprise me. I have never heard of us earning commission with a flight only through Expedia TAP. Okay, but do we earn commission with them? No, we do not. We do not earn commission on flights only at all. That's where you have to charge your booking fee or your ticketing fee. Anywhere you book, with the exception of Centrav, in very rare circumstances, you do not receive commission on flights only. You may get some commission on the flights in VAX, such as Southwest Vacations or FunJet occasionally. But in most cases on airfare, we do not receive commission. So that's why, especially if you're booking an flight only, then you are going to need to charge that service fee to make any money. Leslie, the best way to book any type of flight is with the airline directly. However, if you are doing group flights, you're supposed to go through Archer for that. Now, here's the thing about that. You need to talk. There is a $40 per person charge that Archer charges to book those group flights. And the group has to be more than 12 people. How many people are you talking about, Leslie? Whoo, buddy. Who's your mentor? Have you told her about this booking? Leslie, what's your last name? You can just DM it to me if you want. Is this your first group booking? I am a groups expert. Okay. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my contact information, guys, into the chat so that you guys have it. Okay. There's my email, phone number, and Facebook profile, guys. So we'll wrap this up for tonight. Thank you guys very much for being here. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you guys have any questions about booking flights. I am more than happy to help. If you have instant commission questions, anything like that. I do all my trainings on Tuesdays. Usually at this time in a couple of weeks, I do have a special supplier training coming up with Marriott out of Orlando. So at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be giving away some trips that day or some hotel stays that day. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you guys have any questions. But again, thank you very much for being here on the training tonight, and I hope you guys learned a lot. I will be sending this recording out to the mentors, or reach out to me and I will get it to you guys. Thank you all very much, and for those of you who are new, welcome to Archer. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Talk to you all soon.